And thank the Minister for coming into the House, and to thank my colleagues for bringing forward this very important proposal. And I think we do need to look at ways in which we can, in a more energy-friendly way, design our homes, our public buildings, but even buildings more widely. So I think there are a number of other elements that are important, that are part of this. And I want to look at our education and research system. I think we need to look at putting far greater emphasis on concepts around design into our education system. That we look at how we design our homes, our communities, our public buildings, right from a very early age, that people have an understanding of the importance of renewable energies, but also about how we can do things in a far more sustainable way. And I would say as well that in our recovery coming out of this pandemic, that we need to look at investment in research, in how we can solve a lot of our national and indeed global challenges. The reason why the Department of Further and Higher Education, Research, Innovation and Science was set up was not to be an administrative department, but it was so that it would be innovative, that it would look at the kinds of issues, global issues, that we're all facing, and prepare us all as citizens and residents for those challenges and opportunities that are coming down the line. And I would certainly hope that in the recovery plans that the government is bringing forward, that it's not just looking at our economic recovery, but it's also about reshaping our society to be able, one, to avail of the possibilities of solar energy, but indeed other renewable energies, but also looking at how technologies can allow us to live far better lives. And I think it has to be that holistic approach. We have to start from a very early stage, right through primary school level, that there's a greater emphasis that's placed on design and sustainable communities, going all the way through to our fourth level system with serious investment in research around how do we solve global problems. And I think part of the challenge needs to be set to some of our universities that, how are you going to solve issues such as climate change? How are we going to ensure that we have an agricultural system that is sustainable, that supports our farmers, that allows young farmers to continue on, yet at the same time guarantee that we're going to be able to feed the 11 billion people who are going to be on this planet in 2100. So this has to be seen in part of that overall context. I certainly think, and I mean, there's a lot of controversy, I guess, around data centres, and the future data is the new gold. Ireland is ideally placed because for climate reasons to build data centres, but we know that data centres utilise a huge amount of energy. Can we be innovative in marrying up the use of solar and renewable energies with some of our data centres? That if there are, if there's some of these data centres that are not going to be viewed as sustainable on their own, that if they partner with renewable energy generation, whether it is wave energy, whether it's wind energy or solar energy, will that be able to offset some of the challenges we face in that space? And I'd agree with Senator Martin around, that there is money out of the green economy, but we've got to allow people to be able to generate income, to incentivise it. I mean, it's one of the worries that I have around CAP, that farmers are in some way continue to be presented as not being able to contribute towards addressing climate change. There is no sector better to be able to do it. And I think that if we can incentivise our farm communities to be able to use renewable energies, including solar, far more effectively, they will do that. And if they get to own the carbon credits that they generate, they will do that. Because we've got to ensure that we make all of our communities, and I'm thinking particularly of farming, sustainable, environmentally as well as financially. So I welcome this bill. There are some issues, and I know the government has been addressing it, but in terms of the principle of how we need to rethink how our homes, our communities, our colleges, but also our private sector operates. It's crucial. But it cannot just be seen as being part of the planning process. It cannot just be seen as a planning issue. This has to be around changing our thinking within all of our communities, and that means introducing elements of design into our education system. And in many ways, because we are now coming out of this pandemic thinking about doing things in so many different ways, this is the ideal time to be able to do it. So I think what's been attempted here in the bill is very noble, and I think the principle of it should be accepted. But there are much broader issues. There are far broader issues that need to be addressed that are related to it. And I would hope, and I expect, that in the government's programmes coming out of this pandemic, that all of those issues will be addressed.